as promised, I'm going to elaborate on what I was talking about in my last video. What I was talking about in my last video is watching the news, not just in the country that you're in, but all around the world. So try and subscribe to different news channels. You may find that you don't have time after work to just watch the news or before work. You may not really want to pick up a newspaper, or you're in a rush for work or whatever the case may be. But if you subscribe to news channels, you've got the news on your phone and you can catch up with it whenever you want. Say if I don't know, let's say if you work in the field that I want to go into, for example, marketing and advertising, and let's say this pandemic has completely faded down completely, but in certain countries, like for example, say if just hypothetical, don't judge, but anyway, say if Italy, it's still rising, and you've got a client in another country and your manager wants one of you to travel to this country to, make a deal or whatever, it's best for you to know what's going on in these other countries, and also know what's going on in the countries that you're from as well. For example, I'm Nigerian, Mauritius and Dominican. So I'm subscribed to loads of different news channels all around the world, but I've also subscribed to those three countries also. So, because even if you've got loads of family in, say if you're really close with your family, you all live in London or you all live in America or wherever you're currently located, you still got aunties, cousins, blah 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 in that country, and you may not talk to them, but either way, they're still your family. Or maybe you may want to relocate in the future, or you want to go on holiday or anything. Isn't it best to know what's going on in the country that you're from, whether you're from Trinidad, whether you're from Jamaica, whether you're from Italy, whether you're from Egypt, like no matter where you are from, even if you've just got a quarter or half or a third, like it's best to know where you're from also and what's going on in that country. Also, another good tip is subscribe to vloggers and YouTubers from that country. Like for example, what I did was I typed in living in Nigeria. I typed that into YouTube, and loads of vloggers and YouTubers came up, like what it's like to live in Nigeria, blah blah blah. And I've done that for Mauritius, Dominica and Nigeria as well. That way you really get, you subscribe to those channels, like whether they're, whether they're, no matter if they're just relocated, if they're originally from that country themselves, either way, you're just seeing what it's like to live in that country. And so you subscribe to all these different channels, not just one, but subscribe to a few, because you may subscribe to just one and they're like really rich and you think like, oh yeah, it's going to be great, but then you've got, the other side that's really poor or whatever. So subscribe to a few from each country that you're from, or if you're just from one country or whatever. I find that it's really helpful because you know not only about what's going on worldwide, like there's news channels like CNN, World News that you could subscribe to, but because they're touching on everything, BBC News, there's BBC Africa, but where they're subscribing to everything that's going on around the world, they're only touching, touching things that's, it's not enough information because they have to cover this and that and that and this. But if you subscribe to news channels that's from a specific country as well, you get to, they'll say, right, there's what the problem is, Like, it's best to, that's what's best to do basically, because you never know what's going on in the world. The world is moving crazy. China is taking over everywhere. and it's best to, even me, I've subscribed to a Chinese news channel that's got subtitles in English, just so I know what's what they're thinking, what's the new. It's best to know what's going on in the world, basically. You know, that's the moral of the story. Anyway, stay home and stay safe. Thank you, and subscribe.